Hey, sore throat, darn golden model, WTM, LinkedIn. Let's see if I can get that order right as I talk about my day, I guess, or just different stuff. First off, I have a sore throat, and that sucks. Not just because of the sore throat. That wasn't actually that bad this time, thank Lord. What happens usually, though, when I have a sore throat, is that I get stuffy nose, and it's just a whole process, and it sucks. But that is what it is. So hopefully that's not the case. I really pray it's not the case. But besides that, let's get into the next thing. Darwin Golden Model. So Sakana AI, a lab in Japan, an AI research lab in Japan, love Japan, released this paper about the proposed system of a self-improving AI coding model. And it's called the Darwin Golden Model because Darwinism, evolution, that explains itself. But Gödel, the Golden Machine was proposed by this dude. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think is Jürgen Schmidhuber. Yeah, Jürgen Schmidhuber. And the idea of a Golden Machine is that basically it would it'll basically improve on itself with like it'll be a self the idea of the paper basically a self-improving AI coding model. The issue though is that it would have to before it can make an improvement, before it can change like the code, it would have to prove that the code change is actually an improvement. Right? And the issue with that is it's impossible to see if it's actually an improvement because you have to test it. You have to see like all possible improvements to see if that's like the best improvement to make or whatever. So what they did instead is that they used an empirical way to actually measure if it's an improvement. They have like software. They use like different benchmarks to see like how the different improvements will perform on those benchmarks. So it references the golden machine, but it's not actually the golden machine. Um, and that's basically the model. Really cool stuff. It's basically, like I said before, a self-improving AI coding model, and it did perform really well in the paper. I actually want to try work on it because I feel like it'll be really cool to like try something like that. I think um, it reminded me of Google's Alpha Evolve. Um, dang, what am I blanking on now? Basically, Google's Alpha Evolve was their model that could like improve on itself to a certain extent with limited human intervention. I was looking at this paper. I think the human intervention in this one was pretty small. Um, there were some stuff like when I was looking at the paper, it doesn't change. It doesn't improve on the base foundational model. From what I understood, it more so just changes. If I remember this correctly, I think it changes the prompts and other stuff about the model. I think it's really cool. I want to try like playing around with it and seeing if I can do something similar. Cause I think it'll be cool, especially for my job now, if we could find the ways to improve our AI models. Because one thing I was looking into is that fine tuning is actually really expensive. So um, that's I don't know. Cause I really want to try fine tuning. I don't know if I want to waste company resources on that. Maybe I can try using a smaller model and just see what that's like. But I guess because I have no I I'm gonna pause there. Fine tuning is expensive though. Um, so I want to try doing different stuff. So maybe this is probably also expensive. But I definitely want to try it out. 'Cause I think it looks like a really cool paper. Next thing, WTM. So WTM, I think I've been slacking off with it. To be honest, WTM is the app. It's the event discovery social platform. Event discovery platform, not social. It has social components, but it's not a pure focus of it. It's not like an Instagram. It's more so I'm just going. It's an event discovery platform. I'm still obviously working with the pitch line and all of that, but I'm improving the. I've had the wireframe for a while now. I've been trying like I've been stalling it. Like I've been trying to get some feedback on it, but I think I'm just going to step to the next stage, skip to the next stage, and actually start building out a user interface. So taking like that bare sketch of the wireframe, actually like making it look like an app, and then from there, I'm going to test out some designs or like push out to some people and then I'll have like a max of like 2 days. If I don't get enough feedback, I'll just go on to the coding stage and go from there. But it does look nice, and I'm excited. LinkedIn, I posted about the Rio Ragbot machine thing, and it's really cool. I'm happy I did. I think I'm really trying to create. That's something I really want to do over the summer and into the end of 2025. Is we're just trying to create more of a brand essentially, which sounds it can sound superficial, but I think it's something I really want to try doing because I do think there's a lot of benefits and I think there's a lot of good that come from it. So I want to try seeing if I can create a brand that's not just like, oh, I'm talking about tech stuff, but I'm also building. I'm actually building stuff. I think that's one of the biggest conflicts I've had as I've grown more and more about learning about different AI technologies or just different technologies in general. So that it always feels like I'm talking about them, but I'm not building them. So I was really happy with the RAG pipeline I built. And even like going into different areas, it's like, oh dang, that's something, like I'll see something, I was like, oh dang, I actually built something similar to that. It's like, it's really, really cool. So I get, it also does help with my confidence. Like, that was something I was thinking about a while ago, about the whole idea of imposter syndrome. That even though there is an importance to understand, like, you're not an imposter, I do think another way to approach it, and or maybe in addition of the way you already approach it, is to just continue working in that sense of like, hey, if you feel like you're, I think this particularly applies to fields like tech and just coding. If you feel like an imposter, just build more stuff. I think the reason it's not just like, oh, once you build like 10 stuff, you feel like you're no longer imposter. But I think the more you build stuff, the more experience you gain, and the more experience you gain, the more practical and the more you realize how it kind of demystifies the whole thing. I think being an imposter, or the feeling of being an imposter, partially comes from the mystification of the field you're working in. Like, you feel like there's some secret sauce or knowledge that people around you have that you don't. But the more you just build, like, you just realize, oh, it's just I didn't know how to do that, or I didn't know how to use this tool. I don't fully understand that concept, and just like all I have to really do is learn, practice, build, and that's pretty much it. I think that's another way to approach it. But yeah, this was kind of just an amalgamation of different stuff, but I kind of wanted to get it out. I do think that it has its own value in a way, but I'll definitely try and in the coming episodes have like more structured videos. But besides that, though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.